good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Covering all bases here on the 80s Cinema Club because we don't want to presume when you're listening.
You
I
could
hadn't
be
said
listening to this
that
in
before.
2026.
That would be really weird. Imagine this. So right now, we're sort of maintaining a constant level of decent viewership. And then like in 10 years' time, for some reason,
When we're
loads
not
of people,
doing it.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
when
we
we've
might be doing
completely...
it, but...
God, if we're doing this in 10 years' time.
we said that, didn't we? when we
Yeah,
started?
every 80s film. That's the trailer, isn't it? God, imagine we have a reflux. Anyway, we've completely diverted from the actual meaning of this, which is that we're doing
As
Predator
usual.
this week.
Yes.
Released in 1988.
It
I say that with emphasis because the UK release date is January 1st, 1988, and in America it's released in 87. So we're going to go with the UK release date because I feel like it. Anyway, this is a really long plot summary, so just give me a moment to collect my breath.
Ooh.
Right, perfect. So this film is all about Major Dutch Schaefer, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and his rescue team of elite paramilitary troops. This is a long one. Mac, played by Bill Duke. Blaine, played by Jesse Ventura. Billy, played by Sonny Landham. Poncho, by Richard... I can't say this one. Richard Chams, maybe? I'm not sure. And Hawkins, played by Shane Black, are brought in by a CIA man, Colonel Al Dillon, played by Carl Weathers, to rescue a cabinet minister whose helicopter crashed in an unspecified South American jungle. After battling with guerrilla forces and finding Russian forces also planning to stage a secret invasion from this mysterious South American forest on the US, Blaine and his troop then need to escape this jungle and take back the evidence to warn the US of the impending invasion. However, they soon realise they're not alone. How many will make it out alive?
One of them.
One of them, yeah.
One or two of them.
Spoiler. Well, true, yeah. I mean,
Two people make it out alive.
she lives, doesn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two.
I can't remember her name. There is, I think it's Anna, isn't it?
Yeah.
Played by, I will get that up quick because I feel a bit bad I've missed her out now. I kind of forgot.
As he does that, this is episode 20.
Anna, played by, oh wow, Elpidia Carrillo. That's a cool name. Anyway, so, had a budget of 15 to 18 million, and guess how much it made?
100 million.
I mean, it's pretty close, 98.3.
Ooh.
So this is a pretty reasonable success.
Yeah.
Definitely was...
Anything will be a success over what we did last week.
Yeah. Honestly, I watched this film before Prince of Darkness.
So
I
did
wish
I.
I'd done it the other way around. This would have been a much nicer...
Way to end.
Yeah, it really would have.
All right, then. Let's get on to
Yeah.
the likes and the dislikes.
Likes and dislikes.
Bit more to like this week.
Yeah.
Which is good. I like liking things, although it is fun
I
when we
like
do a
liking
film that's
things.
awful.
Yeah, it
And
gives
we
a bit
haven't
of
done
difference,
many, to
doesn't
be
it?
honest. I think our average score for a film is like we rate it like a 6 or a 7.
Yeah,
So-
most ones we've done have been pretty good, I'll be honest.
You know, we haven't. I think this kind of fits the same kind of category.
Yeah, this I
Um,
think should, yeah.
Few things to like then.
A few things like, yeah. Complete contrast to this. All the characters I felt were developed to a decent level, not some more than others, obviously.
Yeah, they all had a personality that you could see.
Yeah.
Whether or not it was really complex, it didn't need to be because
No.
they died most
Yeah.
of the and it wasn't like really heartfelt deaths. It was like
They just
gory
died pretty
deaths
much,
that
yeah.
were they're there to be killed, which is awful. That was the
They're
plot
there
in the
to
thing.
die, nothing more. You know what? Fair
Hey,
enough.
they're
Harry.
expendable.
That's true.
remember?
The CIA guy said that.
Yeah, he said that.
What was Dylan? That was his name.
Little did I said, you know, the arm wrestle at the beginning.
Yeah,
You
I
can
didn't
tell-
realise that was from Predator, you know, because
Yeah,
that's the main
you always see
format.
like when you watch like 80 something, it's like
Yeah.
it's like everyone is in like slow
The
motion.
thunderous
It's like yeah.
Meeting of the two arms.
No, yeah. I thought you could actually tell a lot about their relationship just from them arm wrestling like that, and the way they look at each other, just like they're friends.
Mhm.
Yet they probably don't really like each other very
No,
much.
that
Which
rivalry almost.
you know, yeah, exactly. I don't know. I just thought it was a nice little detail.
I
Although
agree.
it probably was just a way to get the really strong guy from Rocky and probably the strongest man on the earth at that point to just have an arm
Yeah,
wrestle
two really
and just
buff guys.
pulse their muscles. Because
This
that's
is
all
really
they were
weird you
doing.
remember describing this.
No, but that's what they were doing basically.
Yeah,
it was
that's
just
true.
a showcase of look at these buff
Oh, yeah,
actors
look at
we
these
have.
really big guys and watching them arm wrestle. Again, more character shown really in that minute section than the whole of Prince of Darkness.
We're still hating on that film.
We will. I will keep
It's
it
gone.
going for like
It's in the past.
years.
Has this become like the new?
A skeleton in the closet we're going to forget. Hide it where?
It's like we used to talk about Raise the Titanic
We
a lot,
did.
but we
But that
actually kind of
actually wasn't-
ironically like that
Yeah.
now. Whereas Prince of Darkness is just so bad.
I don't think we can ironically like it. I really like the effects of the skinned soldiers. That's a really weird thing to say, but it
Yeah,
was done
it's-
very. It looked
It
really
looked very
good.
realistic, don't they? Yeah. I mean, I've never seen one in person, but to what I
I've seen
think
a
it would
skinned
look
guy.
like.
Missing out.
Never skinned a guy. I hold no responsibility for what Mr. Meme says on this podcast.
Thank God. You're being a lot of issue by now,
Yeah.
if I'm honest. I liked some of the one-liners. This film has loads of really iconic ones.
For me, it depends which ones.
Okay.
Because I don't mind the ones Arnold says, which are like the pretty iconic ones.
Mm-hmm.
There's the one he sticks his thing, it's his knife in someone. He
It's
says,
like,
stick around. But the thing I don't like about that is
Yeah.
2 seconds later, he then does the other one, which is what's the one? It's when he knock knock. That's what he says.
Yeah.
I think. But I don't mind
Bit
that
too
he has
close.
those. But he says them directly after each other, which I think like takes away the kind of value of the first
Yeah.
one. So he goes, stick around, and then if he went and started killing some more
Then
people, it'd been fine.
knock,
But he
knock.
goes, stick around, then hits the door and goes, knock knock, and then it's like, but you just did one.
Yeah.
I don't
We had
understand.
Yeah, I totally get what you mean though, because it does really detract from the value
Yeah,
and the
'cause-
humor of it. If it
Yeah, a
just
lot of
happened
people
constantly.
like the get to the jobber line. That's in sorry.
Arnold, you just defiled this guy's. I don't know, as I've read as well, his favorite catchphrase he's ever
Yeah.
said. Get to the
Just
chopper.
get
and
to
you
the
just
chopper.
butchered it.
Yeah.
Oh
But I mean, like that. It's like people remember the film because of their iconic one-liners.
God, yeah.
But I feel like it's a really minor detail that kind of they lose a bit of their like, I guess comedic and like not shock value, but
yeah, but the actual effect.
the
them
effect
is
of them
lost.
when he just keeps saying them over and over
Yeah,
again.
and they're constantly banged out. For
Yeah,
no
if
reason.
everybody just says them all the time,
It's just
like
like, just shut
you
up.
don't need it to be said.
It's not a one-liner, then it's just dialogue.
Yeah,
isn't it?
exactly. It's not a one line. It's just we're just doing this. This is how we speak.
Yeah. Speaking of some interesting dialogue, right at the start in the helicopter scene, which I really quite liked, you see Blaine offering around chewing tobacco to other people and no one accepts it. And he says, and I quote, "I'm surrounded by a bunch of slack-jaw faggots around here. This stuff will make you a goddamn sexual tyrannosaurus just like me."
And then
I just, that caught me so off guard that I had to pause the
no, I
film.
kind of watched it. And I was like, did he just say like? I just looked at it, kind of thought in my head, "Yeah, this is definitely an 80s film."
Yeah, the sexual tyrannosaurus part, which is like, what on earth is he on? Oh, that made me like Blaine from the second he said that line, I'll be honest.
I know it was like the because the characters all seem to have like their personalities and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
the guy kept cracking big pussy jokes
I didn't
the
like that.
entire time. That was
No,
a bit
no,
weird.
Didn't he say like 2 of them? And
He did.
One of my things like I didn't like is just why why make his only personality trait
Did
that
he
he
jokes
goes up to what's his the tracker dude.
Oh, Billy.
He goes up to Billy and just goes, "Billy, it was so big." And I was like, why? I don't want
The whole
that.
joke about being that it echoed because how big it was.
Yeah, and he's just I kind of get because he's trying to like make him laugh, but
Yeah.
it's like he's awful at doing it. But some part of me was just saying, is there not another joke you could have made?
That's the only thing he knows how to joke
Why
about.
did it have to be that?
I reckon that's probably why he got killed off first. They didn't have to suffer him anymore.
Yeah.
No more jokes.
The main thing I like about the film is I like that the Predator is like a mystery, and it's slowly so he's not the main villain of the film for a long time.
No, that's true.
Like,
yeah, it's about half an hour.
So you know,
40
like
minutes through.
he's basically we don't properly see him. I can't remember if I wrote it down or not until about 54 minutes into the
Yeah,
film.
it
You
takes
don't
a while.
actually see the Predator, and then after that, he's still in the camo mode for most of the film until the end. But so the start of it, except for the spaceship, you know,
Yeah,
going
true.
into Earth, it's just a normal action film, but there's little hints. So it's like these like, why would they skin him alive?
Oh, yeah.
That's not something humans would do.
No, not
but it's
usually.
not. Nobody goes, it's something out of this world.
No.
Or it's like, oh no,
Just
this,
like, oh, it must
this
be the
isn't the
gorillas.
work of them. No, they fully believe that the gorilla the thingies could do that.
Yeah.
But they don't believe it.
Yeah, they're just not sure why. So you've already got that seed of doubt, really, don't you? At the
Yeah,
start?
exactly. So it's like sowing the seeds of like what's to come without telling you what's to come, because when it
Exactly.
happens, you're like, oh yeah, that's like
That makes
what
sense,
they were
yeah.
building up to, but it doesn't tell you they're building up
No,
to it, which is
was a
what I
much
like
better-
about
It
it.
was very well done.
For like quite, I mean, it is really good, but for what many people just think is a good old, you know, men America, yay,
Yeah,
shooty
guns,
shooty bang bang, like, you know,
Russians.
it has quite a complex
Murder.
way of
Yeah.
like revealing its villain.
It was definitely written very well. I do like the gorilla scene where they're just essentially, it's total overkill on the gorilla camp. Like, they do not give them a single chance to fight back. The amount of
I'm
grenades
sure
they
they're
use.
war crimes, right?
I mean, I couldn't say, but the amount of people who weren't armed there
Yeah,
that just
no.
blew up.
I
It was
well, I
like,
think that's the whole
okay.
point of the thing, isn't it? It's like overkill. 'Cause
Totally is,
there's
yeah.
that scene where basically it's just him shooting grenade after grenade
just
after
constantly.
grenade. They had hostages in.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like
Doesn't
they
matter
don't
anymore.
know where the hostages are. And the second one is when
It's when
Blaine
gets
dies,
killed, yeah.
and
Terrible.
no respectable army regiment, no matter who you think you were shooting, would
No.
empty 2 rounds, like as in
Oh,
full.
That went on for
full
ages,
things.
didn't it? Yeah.
So he emptied a full Gatling. I think he said it was 200 rounds
Yeah, Mac just picks up the Gatling gun and it goes on
after
for
using
so
his
long.
own, and he
Yeah,
has
yeah.
a big gun himself.
It's mad, isn't it? Oh, and they got nothing. Actually,
Yeah, exactly.
They do wound the Predator, don't
You
they?
know, there's no way. 'Cause Arnold comes along, Dutch comes along. He's
They're
like-
all just
they're all
firing at the
shooting.
tree
So
line.
instead of going, guys, what are you doing? Stop firing! You'll have killed whatever's there. He goes, brrrr, starts getting them all as well. Like he just starts shooting, and then the other
Yeah.
guy comes along, also
Oh.
starts shooting.
It's hilarious, isn't it?
Like the problem with that is none of them had any bullets left in their gun when they stopped firing.
Yeah.
So if
Maybe it
something
wasn't the
then
best
came
idea.
upon them, they had no
Yeah.
bullets to attack them without reloading.
Could have still been a risk of more gorilla troops. So like, no,
Yeah.
we're gonna get this guy. Sticking to it as well. Blaine's death as well was done pretty cool. The way he got shot through the back and his entire chest blew up and you could see his ribs.
I think wasn't the point with Blaine's death, if you look at it very carefully, he was first killed with a harpoon gun, which they then scrapped.
Really?
So I think it's supposed to. I can't remember what it is, but there's a shot because I think the first shot you see him getting killed from the front, technically,
Yeah.
and if you look very closely, you can see like a harpoon go through him.
All right. Okay.
But he is killed by the plasma cannon or whatever it is,
Right.
not the harpoon, because they went through many different phases of seeing what weapons they wanted the
Right.
Predator to have,
That's fair.
and I think
That's
they then
quite cool,
switched
actually.
out and killed him in a different way.
Yeah, it was definitely some.
Yeah,
you
it
see
wasn't
like
killed by
a
a
bead
harpoon.
of blue stuff, and it hits his sort of like the
Yeah,
upper
yeah.
back, and his chest just blows up.
Yeah, the gore was very good.
They did do it very
like
well.
for the kills and stuff. They're very like inventive for the way they did it.
Yeah.
I said the fire stunts and all the effects were pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So the fire
agree.
stunts mainly in the gorilla camp,
Yeah.
when you see at least I think 3 people running around on fire, is like that's very
Yeah.
impressive. Like, I know there's professional stunt people and they'll
still.
have like flame, but it's still
You're
like,
still on fire.
you know that's right. I knew that was real. Like when looking at it, because
Yeah.
now like CGI fire and whatever, but these people actually ran around on fire for a good probably 10 to 20 seconds. They were on fire for.
yeah. They
like,
were on fire
on
for a
camera,
while.
which is insane.
And honestly, as well, we can't sort of skip over the fact that most of this was location shooting.
Yeah, I can't remember where it was, but it was all
It's,
in like a jungle, wasn't it?
Yeah, various locations of Mexico. I think
Ah, okay.
most of the majority of scenes here on Google were apparently filmed in Miss Malaya in Mexico. So
So it does really. I said
it really shines.
the
fact that
jungle
it's all
setting
real.
is perfect because it's lots of places to hide and it's hard to see.
Exactly, yeah.
Which is the whole point of, they're getting hunted down by a predator.
Yeah, it fits the whole dynamic between them and the predator really well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like you're saying.
Because it's so hard to navigate your way through.
Mm-hmm.
But it's such a good environment for somebody who knows how to navigate it. 'Cause
Exactly, yeah.
it's easier to hunt whatever you're looking down for, whatever you're looking for even. I also thought the shot. So when Mac dies,
Yep.
when he's
he gets
going
shot
after the
through the
predator,
head.
he gets shot through the head. But they do the shot from
Oh,
behind,
Yeah.
and awful. You see his brains like get blown out
Onto the
basically,
camera, yeah.
and that's like it's one of kind of like my favorite type of shots when you do that, and like I guess like horror films or like thriller, well, you know, when the camera's behind him and it's
almost like
it's got splashed with
yeah,
the
it's
blood.
like a third person shot almost, isn't
Because you know, I think it shows how brutal it is and shows how clever that like shot is for them
Exactly,
to take
yeah.
it, because it's underneath him. It's really hard to shoot things because obviously he
You've
was
got a
like
whole
lying on like
person.
a log or something, but the way, I don't know how they did it, but it was probably like the
Yeah.
bit of the log was cut out and the bit that he was on was like, you know, they had a camera underneath or something like that. Which comes to if you're talking about the effects, is the like the camel effect, the camouflage
Yeah.
effect, which I'm going to explain this really badly
Okay.
because I only read this once. But to my knowledge, it wasn't created using special effects. Like,
No, it wasn't.
You know, it was made with some. It was basically they shot most things twice, and the first time they shot it, the Predator was covered in an all red suit.
Yeah.
Because it was totally different to the green background of the jungle, so you could distinguish it. And when they shot it again, it was shot like out of focus or something, and then they can like blend them together, and it basically it meant that the person was there, but the shot of the jungle was shown over them with like an outline because it was
Yeah, 'cause
trouble.
it was sort of
it had
blurred.
trouble figuring it out that there was somebody there, but there wasn't. But that was the whole point they wanted
Yeah.
to do it, because it looked like somebody was there, but
But
they
it
were
wasn't
blended
at the
in with the
same time.
jungle.
Which I think for the time, obviously now it looks a little bit edged or up, but for the
Yeah.
time thinking of it and doing it in such a process like that is really impressive.
Yeah, which I think other things like the thermal vision camera that
Yeah.
use like that's how the Predator sees. And when I quite like the reveal of it being alien when he shows his hand to the thing to look at him, because you see that it's not a human hand. Because that thermal vision could have been anything. It could have been the gorillas watching him with like thermal imaging cameras. I don't, you know, stuff like that. But showing his hand was like adding to the mystery that this might not be like, you know, a person.
Oh yeah,
It's going to be something that
kept it
you
really
know,
ambiguous, didn't it?
yeah.
For quite a while, which again just sort of adds to the threat of the Predator, because they don't know. Ultimately, they know something's hunting them even at the end.
Yeah.
But it's only until you really get that standoff between Dutch and the Predator right at the film's end he really gets to see what he's been up against this whole time.
You know, so stuff like that. So I think the film, for quite, you know, you go into it, I think, quite unassuming of what it's going to be, because Predator's become quite a big franchise of not the greatest films after this. Like you hear, like when they come out, because there's two Alien versus Predator films.
Really? I think I'd heard of one.
Yeah, which is basically the studio going, right, well, we have Alien, because from Alien,
yeah,
and we have
obviously,
Predator from Predator.
Predator.
Why don't we put them together?
Yeah.
Basically cash grabs. But
Honestly,
this,
yeah,
it felt
makes
like
sense.
quite an original idea because it knew what it was doing. Like the film builds tension really well, and it knows
really does, doesn't it?
when it should show the Predator and when not to.
I totally agree with that.
So like the first person it kills is glasses dude.
yeah, Poncho, I think it is.
Yeah.
I could be
And
wrong.
no, I don't think it's Poncho. I think whatever. Big dude with glasses. Oh well,
Hawkins.
big glasses. Hawkins, that's
Hawkins
it.
dies
It's like it
first.
doesn't show him still. All it shows is you kind of see the blade, the wrist blade slash him kind
yeah.
of, and you see Anna like splattered with blood, and that's like you
And
know
they never find his
pretty
body,
shocking.
because he gets suspended up on a tree.
Yeah, because they're like search the ground, but he's actually up there.
Yeah, 'cause you see the blood dripping or trickling down the tree, don't you? I think.
It was apparently intentional that we didn't see Billy's fight scene. You know, when he takes
when he goes
off
and-
his gun and he pulls his knife out and he like
Essentially to
basically gets the blood out like to try and attract him. The whole film I wanted to see him like
Yeah,
have a
Billy was
standoff against the
quite a
Predator
cool character,
because I thought I didn't think he was going to survive.
No.
But I thought maybe he'd have a fight with the Predator or he'd give
Mm-hmm.
it, but no, you just hear a scream of him dying.
I think
like
it would have been a lot better actually, because Billy the whole time he's the first guy being almost the track of the group who's aware that there is something
there. Yeah,
something
he's
big
very
out here
like
that-
paranoid. He starts to get
Yeah.
paranoid that something's watching them.
and he says that he's actually scared, he's frightened that whatever's out here is you can't deal with it. And then you do get that almost sort of dual honest sort of thing going on when he stood on the log expecting the Predator to come from the front.
Yeah.
And I like as well how the Predator doesn't, and it jumps in from the back, showing that there's almost
Yeah.
there is no element of like
It's
humanity or
yeah.
mercy to the killing. It is just killing purely for the fun, the hunt of it, really.
Yeah, exactly. They are the prey that
Yeah.
that he's hunting them. Like he wants to have some sport in it.
Essentially,
but he
yeah,
wants
it
to
is,
make
isn't
it easy for himself. Well, because that's the whole thing. Anna never died because she never was armed,
No, yeah.
and it didn't like.
There was
I
no
mean, I
threat.
think if all the men dropped their guns, I think it still would have killed them. But
Yeah,
I think it's the
probably
fact that she never was armed.
Yeah.
It's not
There was
enough of
no-
it's not enough of a fight that the Predator knows it can win.
no need for it to kill
Yeah.
him, really.
I was
Right.
like the Predator itself looked really good, as in both
Yeah.
the armored look, which was, you know, it's iconic now and looks good.
Yeah.
But then also like the alien underneath.
The alien face.
Like I was watching it, I was like, yeah, it's pretty convincing. Like I think you can see a few things where you know it's like prosthetics and makeup.
Oh, yeah.
Which I mean you're gonna. But
Because, I
it's-
mean, he's not actually an alien. Spoiler
yeah,
alert.
really, yeah, I know, right? But it still looks really good and
It does, yeah,
very
doesn't it?
convincing for what it's trying to pull off.
I wrote
Um,
as well that I didn't realise at the time, which was the sort of very light and floaty movements of the Predator. Whenever he'd move anywhere, it was like, I don't really get that. But it's because of the fact that the actual suit itself was £200,
Yeah.
and the actor couldn't, for all the actor was pretty big himself, couldn't sort of lift and support the weight. See, they had to use a bungee rig
Wasn't
for
he like
whenever he was
7'2"
moving.
or something?
Yeah, 7'2".
And the
Guy's
original guy they
huge.
cast was going to be 5'9"
Yeah.
because they wanted the Predator to be like stealthy,
Yeah.
but they put him up against Arnold Schwarzenegger and were like,
It's-
yeah, this isn't going to work.
It doesn't match up. But then this guy who's 7'2", and he, even in the scene at the end, he does kind of tower over Dutch quite a
Yeah.
lot. But yeah, I found it quite funny that the suit was that heavy, they actually had to use a bungee rig to let him move and take some of the weight off.
Yeah, I do think the film was kind of made up of like your typical action overload.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't think I've ever watched a film where I've literally watched and think like, this is like my like your testosterone levels. Like you're watching the explosions and you're like, this is way too much, but it's like I'm enjoying it. You know what I mean?
Oh, God, yeah.
You know, it's like
I get what you mean.
you know, like because you have action movies now and they're all really good.
Yeah.
But it's literally just blow that up.
This
blow,
is- it's
it's like
pure action,
Michael
isn't it?
Bay's wet dream. Like, I'm sorry.
That should be the tagline for this episode. Michael Bay's
you know
wet
what
dream.
I mean, though?
It
Like Michael
really
Bay's
is.
films are
Explosions
all like,
everywhere.
you know,
Bam, bam, bam.
explosions and stuff. And that's basically just what happened in this film.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Literally, it ends in an explosion.
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? Huge
and I
explosion.
think the music, you got to give credit
Absolutely.
to the
yeah.
music as well. Because especially so obviously it builds the tension through the film,
Yeah.
and then it has like your kind of action score, and then but it also at the end when they're going away in the helicopter, it plays a little bit of happy music.
Yeah.
But as you start flying away again, it goes back to the like eerie
Mm.
Predator thing again. Like, you know, is this the end? Like we talked about this like in a lot of other films we've done, especially with like more horror films, which I think is quite an interesting argument which people give to this film,
Okay.
that it's a horror film. Which I wouldn't like. I get with it, but I sympathize more with it's an action film, an action sci-fi film
Yeah. I would
with
probably go
essence
along
of
that way.
like horror aspects.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Because
It's
like,
not enough
you
for it
know,
to be a
the
pure
bit
horror
where I
film.
think it's more the horror is the fact there's so much tension, and it is trying to make you scared. But I think because it is like, here's some really manly army dudes like firing big
Yeah.
guns and bombs. Like
It doesn't quite have that classic
it's-
horror element
yeah,
of,
it's
of the
not,
cast.
It's not really trying to keep it subtle in the fact that this is a horror film, so it doesn't really. But you can tell that they're dipped in to those little
Yeah,
bits.
they
to
definitely
try and
tried
you know
to-
enhance the experience, which it definitely did. There is some things I disliked about it,
Okay.
though not loads, but I thought the sound was a bit iffy at some points.
Yeah, no, I'd agree.
So
Like,
I
right at the
saw
start,
a
I
lot
thought it was
with
bad.
Mac, and this isn't like the actors. This is more like this, like the sound quality, where he'd be talking and you'd hear him, and then he would go muffled again.
Yeah,
But like
no,
it
I
was
noticed
more
that
like
as well.
you can't see him like cutting in. It sounded like they had two sound guys and they kept switching between them in the cut. But
Just sort
only
of
one,
fighting to get
yeah,
the
but
boom
only
arm
one
over
of them was like meant for it. So it was like they were cutting to the wrong person.
Yeah, I noticed it as well at the start when you've got sort of Dutch receiving the brief from the general guy, and when he's talking to Dylan at the start as well. The audio almost felt a bit dubbed over. The audio felt really clear for what should have been a little bit less of a clear
Yeah, exactly.
environment
That's what I mean.
audio
It
wise.
kind of. I mean, it's not. It doesn't. It
It's
just
very, very nitpicky.
took
obviously.
me out the film a bit sometimes when you were trying to listen. I was like watching and I was
fair.
like focusing on some stuff. Then the audio changed quite a lot. I was like, whoa,
It's a bit
like,
strange, isn't it?
what what's happening? Like, because I was trying first. I tried to figure out, is it like something that's happened?
Mm-hmm.
But then it happened again, and I was like, no, it's not. They've just something's cocked up here, or it's just the sound quality of a 1980s film.
Yeah, I think it probably is down to that as well, because it happened. To be fair, I've noticed that a lot in some of the films we've seen, that the audio for some reason does randomly just
Yeah, because I think
snap a little
it
bit.
like
and
really
it goes
depends.
a
Like,
bit
so I
comes
thought
back.
this film, obviously going back to last week's film, I
Yeah.
thought the actual quality of the film, as in how it looked, and
Oh,
not
yeah.
like effects or anything, just the camera itself was better.
Oh,
And this
definitely
felt,
was.
I don't know if it's because they shot it in the jungle and it's a lot of oversaturation of the same color, was
Probably.
quite grainy sometimes. And
Yeah,
yes,
I think you're probably right.
Let me get this straight. We're reviewing 80s films. This isn't like
Oh,
IMAX,
God,
you
no.
know, 4K cameras now.
We're not reviewing the
There
Barbie
is a
movie.
big difference, and I thought, you know, sometimes when you're trying to get that look on the Predator, and it's like really like starting, the screen starts to like blur a bit. It's a bit, you know.
It is a little bit hard to sort
But then
of-
again, that's nothing to do with the writing or anything.
No,
it
the
is
story
just the
itself
way that
is-
it's filmed.
story itself, I'd say, is pretty decent actually.
And the other thing I didn't like, why does the Predator laugh like a human?
I
I know
think-
because it was a human actor that made the laughing
Yeah.
sound, but it doesn't seem right when he's been making all these like clicking noises, and you hear all like the alien type of, you know, like when you know.
yeah,
all this-
the Wickering.
yeah, and I'm not gonna try and imitate it, but it is.
Oh,
like,
do
like,
you did the Arnold thing? You have to do this.
that's awful. Please. don't
Sounds
do that.
like a horse, man.
But you know what I mean? Like there was those
Yeah.
sounds where it was, and then the end he's just like, ha 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 ha, like a deeper
I
than that.
actually
It
love
was like sounds like a human,
Yeah,
and I get why I was laughing because it was like he'd had a good battle and he wanted to like take him out with him,
and he was going to take him out with him.
you know. But
I do get what you mean.
I
think-
don't understand why
Yeah.
that was. You could have had a laugh and like distorted it. You could have had a human laugh,
like
and then distorted it like they do with like all these clicking sounds and the alien sounds, and it would have made a bit more sense.
Yeah, see, I get what you're saying, but it's the thing with the whole way through is obviously he's hunting them, and he's, I don't know if you know this bit, but he starts to mimic what Mac's saying, and like going "Psst, over here,
Yeah,
and you
I
could hear it.
saw that.
So I think it's him trying to
Yeah.
psychologically mess with him throughout the film, and this is his essentially. It makes sense that he laughs, but I get what you mean, that it should have been something slightly
Yeah,
different.
but it feels too human to me. So like all
Fair.
the bits when he whispers, you know,
you can hear
could-
that
it
clicking in
could
the
have been
background
part
still.
of his alien technology.
I
Because
think
you
that's
never
what it
see
is,
his
yeah.
mouth move, do you?
No, it's
but
some
when he
mimicry.
laughs, his face is
face is
out
moving.
and his face is moving. So it just feels a bit of a to not add any effects to the way he laughs.
Yeah, which
I don't
guess,
know. Like that's very like these are very small things, like we've said, that
Yeah,
we don't really like
it's-
about it. Because to me, it's one of those films where it is a bog standard like action Arnold Schwarzenegger like thing with a bit of elevated elements in it that kind of make it stand out from other like really cheap films. That because like obviously in the 80s there was so many like action films
Oh, it was
getting
totally
pumped
oversaturated.
out, which were basically just like army dudes fight these people.
Yeah.
Everyone lives. There's also this woman we've saved. You know, it's like, you know,
Obviously.
that tend to be what the plots were. But adding this kind of different element to it makes it like stand out. Still, to me, not like wasn't amazing,
No, it's
but it definitely it's something enjoyable. And if it was on like on TV or like I wanted something easy to watch or introduce someone to it, I'd be like, oh, you
Yeah,
should
it's-
definitely watch this. You know,
it's again
something-
one of those films that's just good. You know,
Yeah.
it's not amazing. It's not definitely isn't a perfect film.
no,
But it's one of those films you can watch and it's sort of like, yeah, this is fine. You know?
yeah. So, do you want to rate it, or have you got any more dislikes?
No, I think I'm about ready for a rating.
Right then, Alfie, what did you rate The Predator?
So again, as I've been saying as we've gone through it, and literally just then, that it's just a good film. It's not perfect, it's not terrible, but it is still enjoyable to watch. It's not really too arduous as well. Like you're saying,
Yeah.
you can just sort of sit and watch it and appreciate it. So I've given it a 7.5.
7.5.
Pretty high actually, I think, for looking back at it.
Yeah, so I'm pretty similar, to be honest. If this film didn't have like a predator in it and it was like just a really expert hunter was like, you know, coming after them,
Oh yeah, just a
Then it
really
would be like-
tall South American
it'd
guy.
be like a 3 because it's just the film isn't anything really without it. I mean, the
No.
actors are really good in it and stuff
Oh,
like that.
yeah.
But it was the same film with just a guy hunting them and there wasn't any like specific. I mean,
the
there is
small
there
5'9"
is
guy
da-
with a
yeah,
bow and arrow.
like there is danger to it, but the danger is like there's something of the unknown, as in.
It's fear
It's
of
an
unknown,
alien,
isn't it?
you know.
That drives the whole thing.
So I gave it a 6.5,
All right,
which
so
gives
it's
us a
seven,
7,
isn't it? Nice.
which is fair to
I
be
think
honest.
that's
I
about
think
right. Yeah,
it's
it's in that category where it's good, but it's not.
Yeah,
It's not amazing, you
it's
know.
not amazing. Questions.
Only 3 this week.
Yeah, only
3.
We haven't overdone it,
No, thank God.
and hopefully
No similar questions.
no similar questions that have different phrasing, so they look different, and we didn't agree on the answer. So
Let's hope that there's
production
none.
quality.
Oh, God, let's hope that there's no similar ones. Right then, I'll get into it and start.
First
So,
question, Alfie.
obviously, at the beginning, we have, as we talked about, the little interface between Dutch and Dylan. That's a mouthful.
Yes.
As they're talking to each other, and you get Dylan talking and almost reminiscing about a few jobs that. I'm getting lost in my own head now because they're both the same thing. Dylan talk about some of the jobs that Dutch had been on before, and he mentions one particular job.
Oh, there was a
Like
few.
the something job. Where what was the something in that? It's a place name.
Yes, there was 2 that I'm thinking of because there's another one mentioned somewhere else in the script.
This one's right at the start. So
Yeah,
I
I know.
This was also mentioned at the start. I only
just trying
got
to-
one.
I think because I know
If
one
you've
of
got 2 of them, give me 2 of them.
well, no, because the other one they talk about later on is Afghanistan.
Okay, it's
Because
not
he
that.
says I'm trying to forget Afghanistan.
Yeah.
But the only one that I think he said may have been Berlin.
It is the Berlin job. There you are.
Yes, I got one right.
Perfect.
Because later on he says
He's trying to forget. Yeah,
I'm trying to forget Afghanistan.
I forgot about that actually as well.
But yeah, that's oh yeah, because he talks from the tent with the general, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I didn't even know he was a general.
Who composed the musical score for the film?
I never look at that. Well, that's funny because one of my questions is about music, but I never look at the composer.
Yeah, I
for
usually try to
films.
look at the main credits in case you try to ask me. Because
Yeah,
I'd
I
never ask.
never-
I very much hope you wouldn't ask me who was the 3rd assistant director of the film.
I would never do that because I don't find the credits interesting. I'm usually like reading something while the credits are going on.
They had something to do with Back to the Future. I'm fairly sure. Does that help?
You're expecting me to read? I didn't know the Back to the Future music questions either. It's Hans Zimmer. I don't know.
To be honest, though, if in doubt,
decent-
it's
yeah.
Hans Zimmer.
Guess
It
Hans Zimmer.
wasn't. It was Alan Silvestri.
But yeah, no chance of getting that. I'll be honest. I haven't heard of the guy.
Fair enough.
Right. Again, music related, ironically. So in the helicopter scene, right at the start of the film, there's a song that plays in the
Oh
background.
no! Don't ask me what it was.
What's the song that played in the
No,
background?
I've read this.
Yeah. I loved it because it was so out of place. And it worked really
I did
well.
read this, and then I was like, I need to remember that because Alfie will ask me.
Yeah. It relates to the Predator a bit, which is quite funny reading this.
Yeah, that's what I found ironic about it, and I've forgotten it.
Ears are getting itchy from these headphones.
I'm trying because it was Blaine's song, wasn't it?
Yep.
This is. No, I really want to get this as well.
Come on.
I can't actually. Well, it's not. Is an 80s hit.
I don't know. I've never heard of this song aside from here.
I'm really. It had a decently long name, didn't it? It wasn't like one word.
No, there's a couple in there.
I'm trying to like
You're stretching this out a while.
get them out of here, but I can't. Oh no! Wait. No shit. Really trying to
all
remember.
your finger movements on your phone are maybe a little bit suspicious.
No,
I'll be
look,
honest.
I'm not looking.
Okay.
I'll even. All
Go
I
on.
know is it had a woman's name in it, but that's all I can remember.
Come on.
Susan Be Good.
Long, tall Sally.
Ah.
Get it? Because the Predator's 7'2", and might be called Sally. We don't know.
And is long.
We don't want to assume.
You don't. Yeah, that
We don't
might be
assume
his
that
name.
it's a hey.
I took so long thinking, and I still
Yeah.
didn't get it right.
Right then.
Which member of the team originally carried the Gatling gun?
Originally carried it.
Yes,
Oh. I'm pretty sure it's Blaine.
correct.
Nice.
Because
Because Mac takes
Mac
it.
picks it
doesn't
up after
Yeah.
and keeps it.
He
Right.
doesn't. He fires everybody.
Final
Like we
question
said.
then.
So, this is a really interesting one, actually. So there's a particular. This is a very biological question. Actually, it was quite funny. For some reason, there's this particular family of creatures that are named after the predator because they're so similar in how they hunt and kill things. One of these creatures was named after Blaine, but which type of creature was it? Was it a snake, a scorpion, a lizard, or a spider?
I'm so confused right now.
So right. Let me try and explain this a little better. So there's a family of X creature that hunts very similar to the predator. So then every species within that family has been named like predator something, then whatever it is. One of them was named after the character Blaine. Which creature is it?
Oh, so there's an animal called Blaine.
There's an animal with the Latin name of Predator Ornops Blaine. And is it a snake, a scorpion, a lizard, or a spider?
I'm gonna go scorpion.
It's a spider.
Oh.
It's a goblin spider species.
I was only going scorpion because we see a
Super
scorpion in
weird.
the film. So I was
Yeah,
wondering
that's what I
if-
tried to put in things you might have seen.
I really didn't know. The other thing I probably would have went for was like a snake. But,
Yeah,
So I wouldn't have got that.
it's such a weird looking thing as well.
I can't imagine a goblin spider looking.
Look at that.
What the?
It's
It looks
really
like it has
freaking-
cheese puff carrots. Sorry,
It's
everyone.
like
Alfie's
really
just
weird
showed me a
looking.
photo of the
The
spider,
goblin spider.
and it looks like it has like a jelly body and like cheese puff
Yeah.
carrots for legs.
It's really weird.
All right, then final question, Alfie. This is a decently long question section because of how long I thought about my answer.
About long tall Sally.
True or false? The river fall scene was made by dropping a life-size dummy of Arnold into the water with a rock attached to the back to make a bigger splash.
It's false because the stunt operator got a knee sprain after falling at the river.
Fuck you. It is it is indeed false. I was really hoping you didn't know that.
The only reason I would, like I said, the only reason I got that is because the stunt operator really badly injured
Yeah, I
his knee
know.
from the fall.
I
Makes
tried
sense.
to make it as believable but not believable as possible.
That is fair. Right
So,
then.
How relevant is this film?
I mean, they've made loads of continuations of it.
Yeah,
they've milked
mainly-
it dry as a series.
Yes.
So there must be some relevancy there for them to keep making
I think
money
it
for
is because like they realized they'd like made a cultural like I guess phenomenon with the Predator
Oh,
itself.
yeah.
Not exactly the characters in the film. I mean, a Dutch is very iconic and
Oh.
stuff like that.
Oh,
But
yeah,
the
with his
Predator
lines
is
especially.
like it's become a sci-fi villain that
Yeah.
everybody
It's like a
kind of knows.
what do you call it? A staple, really,
Yeah.
of the genre.
So I think it definitely it's the start of something. You
Oh,
know,
absolutely,
it's the
yeah.
thing that kicks it off, which tends to be usually the best one if the rest of them are cash grabs.
Which, yeah,
If you make a
kind of the case
series
with
with
this.
some like integrity, then they tend to have some good thing. But if you when they like start rebooting it,
yeah.
it's usually because they're like, oh, here's a name people get nostalgia from. Maybe Predator 2's
Predator, that'll
okay.
work.
I've never watched it, but considering it's from the original, might
Yeah.
be decent.
I've never seen.
Maybe
so I
when they
don't know.
start going off and doing things like Alien versus Predator, and they're like, look at these two intellectual properties we own.
Oh.
Let's like mash them together, and it's
Fight
gonna
them
be
to the
great.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I think it's definitely a good film if you like your action flicks.
Oh, I would definitely agree.
It's definitely something to watch with a little bit of a twist that might,
Yeah.
that goes a bit towards like your sci-fi horror stuff. Definitely makes
definitely
it more interesting.
a refreshing break from the action films. Of
Yeah,
the
it's a
time.
refreshing break from like dull actions of the time, while being a dull action of the time.
It's mad, isn't
It's
it? Yeah.
really weird
It's just like an introspective film.
because it doesn't lose the like whole big army guy.
Oh,
like,
no.
It sounds awful, but like we are men, we shoot guns, like go bang bang. You know what I mean? there's no like I don't know how else.
We are men. We shoot guns. Go bang bang. You know what I mean? That's been the 8 Cinema Club. Another. Jeez. God, we've lost our minds so much after recording.
Yeah,
Prince of
this
Darkness.
just go watch the film. You'll understand.
It's
me.
good, you know. That's it. That's Predator 1988.
/7.
I don't believe that. I don't support it. Yeah, that's that. Really.
Thank you for listening to another episode.
Yes, as
I
always.
really appreciate it as always. Please contact us. We keep asking, not getting
Eventually it
much
might
traction.
happen.
Eventually, yeah.
We've had a few.
We love the people who do.
We can't not acknowledge
people who've messaged us before.
3 retro movie geeks every now and then giving us a little bit of a message.
Yeah,
very
80s
much
movie
appreciated.
girl.
Our friends.
The _ Goonies _ 1980 whatever the film came out. I've forgotten already.
Great. Well, it must be 80s. 1980, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85,
Might be
86,
6, might be
87,
6, might be 8. 6 or 8.
89, 90.
I
Somewhere
could
there.
check this, but I'm not going to.
This is what we do.
Yeah,
80s
so
films.
you can follow us on our social medias.
Yes.
Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok.
There's usually 5, and we didn't say 5 last time. I can't remember what it is. We haven't recorded for like 3 weeks at this point, so we're a bit out of the loop.
We took a break.
Yeah,
that's at
Back to
the
Future Film.
80s Cinema Club.
Yeah.
You're listening to us now, but other platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible.
YouTube as well. We've
Also
got lots of them.
YouTube. We upload the audio on there every week now.
Yeah, it is a still frame. Obviously,
Yes.
if you don't have video,
But-
we're not a big budget podcast, and it's a lot of effort for team.
But they are there for your viewing pleasure.
Yeah, if you want to just put it on in the background, or you have YouTube Premium and not Spotify Premium, when I download that, listen
That's
to
fair,
it and
actually.
go.
I never thought of that.
Perfect. Yeah, it's a
them
very
weirdos.
niche audience, but we need to appeal
Yes,
to it.
please contact us. We really want to talk to you about anything. Just,
Yeah. How's your day been?
You know,
What you having for
well, I
tea?
mean, don't get too personal. I don't want to
Got
know
any pets?
everything about your life. But, anything 80s movie related, or you just want to congratulate us, or you want to berate us for really doing
That
bad
would
against one
actually
of
be
your
really
films.
cool. We've not had any negative feedback
If
yet.
you just want us to read your name out in this outro or at
Yeah.
the start, or
Lewis Willoughby,
I don't know, just
Zach
something.
Willis.
Whatever you want, we'll try and accommodate,
We will, yeah.
basically. Any
Well,
movie suggestions.
within reason. We don't do hired assassination yet. We've not reached that level.
Alfie hasn't started Hitman
Give us
business.
time. Well, I can't publicly. That would be really bad. Promoting a
Advertising
Hitman
on the
business
Ace and Ugly
on a
podcast.
podcast might be a little bit too easy to
Yes,
track.
thank you for listening. It has been great
Yeah.
to review this film.
For putting up with us for another half an hour.
Yeah, putting up with us again.
Spending
How are
half
you
the ti-
back?
Yeah, half an hour of us in your ears.
Remember that time you spent 48 minutes with us on Goonies?
Was that 40?
It wasn't that.
Jeez, I didn't realise it was that long.
Wasn't that painful?
Oh my god.
I
Why'd you
guess
listen to this?
We'll see you next time, where we shall be doing The Lost
Dracula,
Boy.
Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, we're gonna hop
No.
to the 1960s. No, we
We're
shall be
gonna become
doing.
the
We shall be doing a
1960s.
vampire film though. The
Is
Lost Boys.
is that
It's a
vampires?
vampire film.
Never seen it.
You never seen it?
No.
You're in for
As
a
with
treat.
like every film on this, I'll be honest.
You're in for a treat, Alfie.
Oh wow.
See you next week.
Yes. Goodbye.